I don't know if anybody can hear me, but I think I was supposed to put music over this. Dun, 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 dun.
Wow.
You gotta improvise sometimes.
You had one job to do. It's all set.
Garrett, why don't you host this for us tonight, dude?
What's the matter? You in a bad mood tonight?
No, I'm in a great mood. I just feel like,
okay.
you know, you're a lot more organized than me. I'm kind of like I'm a punk rocker, dude. I just, you know, I throw caution to the wind too much, dude. You know,
this is cool. So we got, you know, what do we got right now? This is the raddest men on the planet. Planet Rad. Is that what it is?
I tell you what, dude. I need answers. I need answers because this movie truly scarred me. Really quick, before we get started, guy, please explain to the people what this artwork means. Like, what the heck? What?
It means you're in for a friggin' weird ass time. That's what that means. You know,
you rented this as a kid.
I did, yeah.
Your parents, dude. Your parents should have.
My mother rented it. Kind of a blind rent, I guess you would say.
I bet it was a blind buy.
blind rent for sure. And I remember watching it, and I can remember, you know, it just being stuck in my head for so long. And you know, I remember years later, I said to my parents or my mom and my brother, and I'm like, did we ever rent a movie where like this kid like put peanut butter on his balls? And like, they're like, no. I'm like, are you sure? Like, I mean, like, I think I remember that. And they're like, nah, I don't know. Like, nobody remembered it. So part of me was kind of nervous because I'm like, did I dream this shit? Like, like, you know, like, what the hell was I thinking? And then when we got like AOL or whatever, and I went on like a chat, like, you know, you've got mail, like that old shit. And I searched it out. Like I put, you know, movie with kids movie where kids puts peanut butter on his balls or whatever. And it came up. And then all of a sudden I was like, oh, that's the name of it. And all these forums that I was finding, these little chat rooms or whatever, people had posted like that they thought they dreamt it too, because at the time you couldn't really, you know, easily just locate, you know, what something was. We didn't have access to do that. So,
right.
But yeah, it stuck with me forever. And it was one of those movies that was very hard to find on physical media until recently. So it's kind of becoming, you know, found by a lot of people that maybe never heard of it before. But
well, I tell you,
sadly, that was a part of my childhood. Yes,
I tell you this, dude. That was probably my favorite video. I gotta thank you and Wes, because sometimes making videos, dude, is a chore. I like doing it, but sometimes I say to myself, oh God, I gotta do this. I couldn't wait to hit the red button talking about this movie, and I knew I was gonna have fun. It's my favorite video I've done all year, and I don't think you will ever be able to top that recommendation. Like, you would literally have to get footage of either Jesus Christ or Bigfoot to top Peanut Butter Solution, dude. Now I hope it gets a 4K, don't you?
Gotta get a better look at what's going on there.
Oh
yeah, it's wild, especially like the people that made it was like, this sounds like a good idea for kids. Like, you know, the people in Canada didn't give a fuck, man.
Oh man, let really quick. Okay, we got T. Shaffy. Quentin loves horror and trains. He never talks about the trains though, Garrett. He always talks about horror, but never the trains. You know?
No, happy October, man. Make sure you go subscribe over there, Quentin, to my channel. I don't think you're subbed over there, pal.
Yeah, do it, dude.
Jeez.
Nuclear, how are you? Rob, we got Fozzie. We got Fozzie in the house.
Fozzie.
Dynamite
Tiger.
Ryan Lunn. B Mega 123. Peanut Butter Solution is awesome. The movie scared me as a kid. Such a bizarre film. Milo, Saturn Video. Welcome everybody. We're gonna have a good time tonight. Me and Garrett. So, was it this year? Was it like at the beginning of the year when we did Mario Brothers, or was
Oh
that
yeah,
last year? Is that this year?
had to be. It had to have been. I don't think so. It's got to be. It's got to be this year.
I think it was, and I still think that's probably my favorite physical media release this year. It could end up being. I know you got yours today. It could end up
Yeah,
being this.
I agree. That's right there too, for sure.
Really quick, Garrett. Let me ask you a question.
Mhm.
Is this a horror film or is this just a thriller? It's a thriller,
Uh,
right?
I guess you could kind of categorize it as both. I'm actually going to do a deep dive on the whole history of The Hitcher, and because it was one of those movies that it's getting a lot of love right now, but I guarantee there's a lot of people that haven't seen or nor heard about that movie until it was announced by Second Sight, and everybody was kind of getting excited for it because the people that knew it and know it love it. The people, that had never seen it, I think are going to really dig it too. But it was one of those movies that was lost for so long on kind of physical media that not a lot of
Right.
people have seen it. So this is a real cool situation because a movie like this is getting a huge resurgence. I mean, not only did they put this thing out, but to give it an edition like that, it's incredible. I mean, that thing still had like a little snapper case DVD up until now. And well, I know Umbrella did theirs too. I got to give them props as well. The fact that it's getting love finally is just so rewarding because I've been a fan of this movie since I remember as a kid. Seeing this for the first time. It almost felt like to me when I saw this, it almost felt like a rated R Tales from the Crypt episode or something.
Sure,
Like
sure.
that.
Yeah, that's actually a really good way to look at it.
Mm.
Yeah, dude, this year has been no doubt in my mind. This year, it's basically I think you could throw Arrow in there, especially now. And I mean, dude, I'm sure you're just as excited as me about fucking Demolition Man coming to 4K. I mean, dude, even Wes, who's the most bitter fuck on the planet. I love Wes, the most bitter fuck on the planet, commented on something and says, finally, like, yeah, I'm excited. This deserves a 4K. I was like, Jesus, finally. Like
Demolition Man?
Demolition Man. Finally, Wes goes, yes, dude, I'm excited.
Well, you know what I like about it is they're finally giving us both versions, which I think is really neat. That's the kicker on this release, right? We're getting both, or is that like because I want the Taco Bell version and the Pizza Hut version.
Right.
We never had the Pizza Hut version, as far as I know. Here, I have the Blu-ray, I had the DVD. I don't ever remember that version of the film being there.
So yes, you are correct. We are getting both versions. I don't want to sound like a downer because trust me, I'm just as excited as you. But people have told me, Christian, don't relax a little bit because basically all they did was superimpose a cheap looking logo.
They did. I did a reel on it like a couple of years ago, showcasing all the different scenes with that and them saying it. But it's just the idea, I think, of this movie coming out, and for whatever reason, Pizza Hut was more popular overseas than Taco Bell was, so they like swapped it. I think it was something like that.
Right.
But to me, it's just being somebody who loves like the 80s and things like Taco Bell and Pizza Hut are literally like my two favorite fast food chains of all time, I think. So to have those two at like front and center of this movie is just, it's so funny to me. And to just have a version that they talk about Pizza Hut, I think is just funny, as much as there really is no difference, except they just say Pizza Hut and they show Pizza Hut. That's it.
I know, but
I'm unique enough that I want to get it. Yeah.
Dude, I want a pizza. I want that Taco Bell shirt, right, with that weird kind of futuristic logo. Somebody's got to make that.
They got it. They've got it online. Just search it. It's on like TeePublic.
Probably TeePublic. Okay, yeah. I need that. I want that shirt so bad.
So good.
Yeah, so that's a great way. But what I was gonna say was, like, I feel like, I don't know how the chat feels about this, guys. Please sound off below. I mean, do you feel like this year has basically been Second Sight versus Umbrella?
I think Second Sight versus Umbrella is an excellent way to put it. I mean, do I think that those two are top dogs right now? Yeah, actually, I think they probably are. And there's been a couple times this year where they've. Oh no, that wasn't them. I was going to say kind of fought over titles a little bit. The Hitcher thing was one, but then Second Sight was not. It wasn't Blair Witch. Wasn't Umbrella. Blair Witch was the other one. So I was thinking there was a couple times where, Second Sight had put out something that another company was putting out like right around the same time. But yeah, Umbrella kills it, man. They really do.
Yeah.
Congrats, man.
Oh, thank you. 1996 for the $2 super chat. Congrats on 30K, Christian Hanna Hart. It's so weird seeing somebody type that out because nobody like I don't call myself that anymore. But thank you, 1996. I really do appreciate that, man.
That means he's an old school
He's an old school guy,
dude. Yeah.
I mean, Garrett, we're gonna get people. I have my set right here. Unlike the Mario one, I have not opened mine at all.
Oh,
Garrett, I'll tell you this, dude. Like, I don't regret this obviously at all, but I thought that this whole thing was gonna be in one fat box together. It looks like the VHS is separate.
Oh, I thought so too. I'm just looking at it now. That's not, huh? Oh, I wish it was, man.
I mean, it is what it is, but
Yeah, I thought it was going to house everything. Okay, I see what they did now. It's two things. Okay. So basically, it's almost like if you didn't get this big bundle, you get the same edition just without the VHS and stuff, I guess. Right?
yeah. Which I actually have my TV back there, which has a VHS and DVD in it. I'm gonna put mine in just to demo it. It's funny. I think most people that get this, they probably don't even have a VHS player anymore.
VHS.
Maybe they do, but we can get into it. But I got wind. I'm sure you did too. I got wind of this getting the 4K. Wait, it's actually I think Germany announced the 4K of this like literally before anybody did. It kind of was just announced, and I was thinking to myself, I don't want this movie on 4K. It's supposed to look like a 70s TV show. So when Umbrella announced theirs, the reason I was like, okay, that's too cool is that the magazine, the TV guide, excuse me, which I'm sure we'll look at. But I don't know. I don't know if you feel the same way. Like, I truly don't need this movie. I mean, Second Sight's probably going to sell a lot, but I don't need this movie on 4K, nor did I really want it on 4K.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you in the sense that, to me, looking at both of them, people always want the 4K, right? Because they think it's, the highest quality or whatever. But again, this is not a type of movie that I think really needs that. So when you've got things like a VHS tape and these promo items like the TV guide, that to me is more, it's more of a reason for me to buy this than to get the upscale. Like, to me, this won me over a lot more because I'm big into these kind of promo items and all this special stuff. Like, it just, it's actually cool that it's all kind of wrapped together though, because at least they just didn't throw it in, but that's cool. And I like this artwork actually a lot better than the Second Sight artwork. Personally,
like the poster
very
art,
old school looking. But yeah, that's what won me over with this release. Was I just think it was more impressive to me to get all these extra goodies in here than the uptick. And the thing with Late Night with the Devil, man, for a movie that just kind of came out like it didn't come out in theaters, correct?
It did. I saw it in theaters, but it was.
Oh, you did?
I did. It was a very limited thing, dude. Shudder is kind of like I'm enjoying them now, Garrett, because this is what happens. Everybody starts to grow and get too big for their britches. Then they're not the cool kid anymore. But right now, Shudder, IFC, they're the cool kids, and like they're creeping out with their Late Night with the Devils in the theater, and they're creeping out with their Violent Nature for a couple nights in the theater. And so far, like, those are some of my favorite movie theater experiences, is seeing Late Night with the Devil was a legitimately great theater experience. I went to like a 10:30 showing at my theater. There was like two guys in there. It was just dark. It was late, and it was Late Night with the Devil, literally. And I loved it. I remember seeing the trailer for In a Violent Nature, and I was just like, holy shit, man. Like, what the hell is this? So great theater experience. It's probably my favorite theater experience this year was seeing Late Night with the Devil in theater. But it was very limited. I imagine those movies made a lot of money too at the theater.
I mean, I'm just shocked on how many editions this has on physical media. I mean, literally there's a Steelbook, a Blu-ray, a 4K. There's the Second Sight. There's this one. There's the DVD. Like, there's literally, like, you can get this on every format. Multiple companies are putting this out. I've never seen something just get released from everybody around the same time. And there was a lot of wins on all this. The Steelbook had some art cards. It was a Steelbook. Some people prefer that. You got this cool edition. Oh baby, Alice, sweet Alice. And you get the Second Sight, which gave you the 4K, so I mean, I think there's all reasons to buy each one, and it just goes to, you just got to kind of be picky and choosy, unless you're just like, I'm getting everything. But it's cool. I mean, it's cool to have the options, but it's tough sometimes too, because you kind of like, man, if this was the 4K with all these goodies, it would almost been like the perfect storm. But like you said before, for me, I don't need to have this in 4K, this specific movie. So I'm cool with this for sure. This is the better edition, in my opinion.
So far, I think every Umbrella release I've gotten since Mario Brothers has been region free. I think that like, all their stuff plays. I'm pretty sure all their like He-Man plays in my PlayStation 4.
Are you kidding me? I canceled my order because there was all these switches with it, and then they went through. And I have a region-free player. I mean, I have Blair Witch on order and all this other stuff, but it was one of those things that at the time, I mentioned this before on my channel, I unplugged my region-free player for my son's video game. So I have to just pull my wall unit out, I'll hook it all back up. So it was kind of just a pain in the ass. I was like, whatever. And I canceled my He-Man thing, thinking that like some other company was going to do another version of it, and then come to find out, people were saying that it was region free anyway.
This is what, yeah, and I want to be clear about something, because you said something about Blair Witch just a second ago. Second Sight's Blu-rays, they're always region locked, but that's Second Sight who's putting out Blair Witch. Now, what is Umbrella putting out the Blair Witch 1 and 2, or is that that's like a sister company?
Imprint, I think. Imprint is doing it.
Imprint. Which I don't know if I've talked about this on my channel, Garrett. I don't know if you knew about this. The director for Blair Witch was basically online saying, "Don't buy that shit."
Yeah, don't buy it. Don't buy it. Like that was how these poor companies. It's like they put it out. It's like, nope, don't do it. Don't do it.
No, but yeah.
And to make it even further, he actually went online again. Was that him that said that? Where did I hear this? And basically said the Lionsgate has the rights. If you guys want basically this Second Sight version in the US, you have to email Lionsgate, or you have to message Lionsgate and say, I want Blair Witch. He's like, they have all the material to do one here. And they said they haven't announced it yet, nor said they were going to do it. But if they wanted to, they've got all the stuff that we did for that Second Sight to do. So again, if you guys want it here, region A, then I would just hound Lionsgate about it.
Yeah, hopefully, because there's a sector of my audience that I can tell you right now, Garrett, regardless of me saying Umbrella is region free or stuff like that, they won't buy region free players. They just won't do it. I preach all the time, get a region free player. It's still worth it today. But I know that there are people, it's like, I don't know, it's like you're a traitor if you do that, and they won't do it. And as some people, I was like, listen, if you want to watch that Blair Witch from second, like you're going to need a region-free player. Second Sight stuff is always locked. It's always locked.
I'm kind of old school. Like, let me ask you, I probably already know this answer, but so I have a region-free Blu-ray player that's its own thing, and I have a 4K player. Now, are there 4K region-free players like that will play everything? Is that, or do you have to buy another player that's Blu-ray plus region-free? Because that's what I have, but I've had mine for like, I don't know, 10 years.
Yeah. So I don't know if there's an actual ready to go market ready 4K player that is also completely region free for Blu-ray and DVD. I know that there's a lot of confusion with this with people, and I try to explain it as best I can. 4K as a format is region free, but Blu-ray and DVD are not. But the problem is, if you go online and type in 4K player, it'll say region free 4K player. And people assume that means Blu-ray and DVD, when in fact it does not. What it's referencing is the format of 4K. So I tell people this, I think the only way, or the majority of the ways you can get a completely region-free player is a modded one, which I don't ever recommend doing that. I just say, dude, you can get a Panasonic 4K player.
I have a Panasonic.
You can get one. Sometimes they go and sell for $100, and then you can get the region-free player for about $90 if you get the LG like I got. So for about $200, you can be just done with, and that's the way I think people should do it. So, but if you're an Umbrella fan, apparently it doesn't matter. You know, their region B, which is also another thing. I keep saying this, Garrett. These companies, it's all out war now. These companies, they're fighting for America. They know 100%. That they were buying, and so they're making these releases as nice as they can.
And I think everybody's fighting for collectors now. Like all these big companies are everything they're putting out is boutique-esque now. Like all these editions. What I just see today, something's getting like this fancy edition from one of these from like Sony or Paramount or something. It's just everybody's going after the
Pulp
boutique
Fiction.
market. That's
Pulp
what it
Fiction.
was. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, what do you got there? Look at beauty.
I know. I
like
let me
it.
see what the back art is. Oh, nice. Okay, so this was the poster art that I like the most. I do wish that was on the front, but beggars can't be choosers. That I love this, but the image of the flaming head, I loved that. That was my favorite piece of art from this. I would rock a poster of this. I'm surprised you never got. Well, you didn't know that it was in theaters.
I didn't know.
To get one.
No, I can probably try to find one, but yeah, I didn't know this was in theaters. I just got a couple new posters. I just got I haven't seen it yet. Speak No Evil and Substance. I haven't seen either of them yet, but I just got those posters sent to me.
People said Substance is a real
deal.
deal.
I know. I want to check it out for sure.
I don't feel like going to the theater though, dude. Like I don't want to go.
I would love to go. I just can't get a minute to get there. That's the only problem. I would love to. I don't get to go a lot.
Did you like Beetlejuice, dude? I couldn't bring myself to go to the theater for it.
I did, but I there was some problems with it, but as a whole I was fine with it, but there was some stuff that I feel like was unnecessary. So a sequel that came out this many years later, I think to me it was like okay, it was as successful as it could have been, I think. But it definitely had problems.
I heard it was 10 pounds of crap in a 5-pound bag.
I'll tell you this. Michael Keaton didn't miss a beat, and he basically saved that whole movie for sure.
Really? No kidding.
Oh my god, yeah.
I'm sure I'll get it on Blu-ray or DVD. Blu-ray.
What are we gonna look at? What are we gonna look at first?
I was gonna look at the DVD. I mean, the DVD, just the case. So
it's cool that there's so much different artwork, though. You know, you get this one too. So it's different artwork, and I like this. This makes me happy. Umbrella, when you can flip it, you don't have that little taggy on the front. I hate that thing.
Yeah, I was doing that.
I'm such a stickler for that. Like, I like the clean. Like,
see, that stuff doesn't bother me until it was either you or Mel. I heard y'all talk about it. Then I started. Then it starts bothering me, right? Like once you start talking about stuff like that, then I start thinking about it.
It drives me nuts, dude. I hate it. Like I get drove nuts by a lot of things. Let me just try to see if I have anything over here to show. No, because all these editions that I buy that have banners on the top, I chuck the steelbook. I mean the slipcover in a box. I hate the banners. Even on that Hitcher set, I posted a picture today. I had to take that J-slip off so I could get rid of that little number.
I usually get rid of mine anyway.
Before I took the picture, I had to remove it so I could take a nice clean picture without that little 2 sitting there.
I don't know if your DVD is near you, but this one has behind the scenes, the making of Night Owl's music, 2023 screening Q&A, the Night Owl's broadcast cut. What is that? I forgot what that is. Oh, there's a poster in here.
Nice. There you go. It's interesting because I have the DVD right here, and there's different features on this. I mean, it just says commentary with Jack Delroy (parentheses) Q&A with directors Colin and Cameron Cairns. Is that what I'm reading right? And then behind the scenes of Late Night with the Devil. So it's different than what we're getting on the back of this, at least. So I don't know if Second Sight's got different features as well. Look at that poster, man. There's the poster.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna have to hang that up. I love that. I love that so much.
Real cool.
Yeah. This is my second favorite movie of the year. But if I watch it again, I may like it. I may like it more than Longlegs. I really like this movie.
Is that your favorite right now, Longlegs?
It is my favorite. And I rewatched it with Sydney. Sydney really liked it too. And she picked up on a lot of stuff that I never did. We were watching Longlegs the other night, and Sydney was like, I think he was a failed rocker. And I was like, you know what? I actually read about that, because the scene where he's got like his makeup chair with those big bulbs, and if you look above it, there was pictures of, it might have been Lou Reed or somebody, but like it was a picture of like a rock guy, and she was like, he looks like he's like like he's Botoxed out, or he had a bunch of bad botched surgeries, like he's trying to stay youthful or something. And
Could have been.
there
He was
was
kind of like
something
Marilyn Manson a couple years ago.
right. There was something
Well,
hanging in his car when he starts screaming, like on the back on the what do you call it, the rearview mirror, like some kind of emblem thing. I got to go up and watch the movie again to see what exactly that was, but I just have a feeling that was probably there was probably something symbolic about that thing. I got to go back and watch it again. But I did love it. But dude, Night Night with the Devil was so good. And this guy won me over, David. I'd seen him in other stuff like Prisoners, which he was like a pedo in that movie, and he was so
oh, that
creepy.
I
He
forgot about
was
him being in that.
Gyllenhaal. Remember
I
when he
love that
knocks
movie.
on the door and
Oh, yeah.
this dude's on the other side? Dude, this guy was creepy. But it might have been Fangoria. This dude's a horror nut. And like he was wearing like in a Fangoria magazine or a horror hound, one of the two, he's wearing like a House by the Cemetery shirt. I'm like, well, this guy's like
Wow.
the real deal, you know?
That's cool.
So yeah, I
Yeah, he
love
did a
this
great
movie.
job in this. Yeah,
And there was
it's great. They got the 70s vibe down. I mean, it was really cool. I mean, when movies can do that, they really win me over. When you can make it feel like it really was where they want it to take place. And sometimes there's movies that will try, but it just doesn't have the feel that this one did for sure.
yeah, and I feel like it's not even like it doesn't even feel like nostalgia. It almost was like we're past the point of trying to feel nostalgic. It's almost like surrealism of wait a minute, was this from the 70s? I feel like they're getting to a point to where it's like they are getting so close to actually replicating a time period now with some of these things. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, man, I remember when I saw Ty West House of the Devil for the first time, I was so blown away that he was able to capture that. I had never seen it like that before, but now a lot of people are doing it. Would you get your little art cards there?
I want to get rid of these completely.
Like,
I think there
are
are
you gonna sell
people
them?
that like the no. I'm saying I want them to stop
Oh,
doing
you
these.
don't want them part of the yeah. I hear
I
you.
want them to take the cost out of the books. I love, but the cards,
What the
you know.
this one, dude?
Oh, this was in the beginning of the movie when they were. You remember they were showing how his ratings were going down. This was like one of the cartoons in the
That's great.
newspaper.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah, this is so cool. Has anybody made a Night Owl shirt yet? Because when I was in the theater, I was like, "Oh man, I want a Night Owl shirt." Somebody has got to make a Night Owl shirt.
I'm sure that there's probably somebody out there that has. I'm almost positive. I'm pretty sure that there was, but I like all these. I like the different poster arts they're giving you, making them all look very old school.
Yeah.
Very, very cool looking.
Why do I feel like this is supposed to be some kind of like Roman Polanski type movie cover?
It
Like
does. It looks like the Sentinel or something.
yeah, maybe I don't even know if that was Polanski. I feel like that was Polanski, but it's probably not. But I feel like I get the Sentinel vibes from this
Yeah,
or something.
definitely.
So
The other ones on there are cool too. Very, very retro looking posters.
So A-Dub says, "Can anybody explain lobby cards to me? What exactly are they? Is it something that used to be in movie theater lobbies?" Well, actually, what you do with these A-Dub is whenever you have an appointment and you're sitting in the lobby, you pull these out while you're waiting, and
You just look at them.
Yeah, you shuffle through your cards.
Yeah, you know what's funny though, because the lobby cards and the stills images prints is an interesting thing for me too, because my uncle collected lobby cards, movie stills, and he's got all original ones from like Last House, Hills Have Eyes, Texas Chainsaw, and he shows them to me all the time in this binder, and he loves them. And it's just one of those things that I guess was really popular in the 70s and 80s, but for some reason it never carried over into like when I was collecting. So to me, lobby cards don't do anything for me because I didn't really understand what the purpose of them was at the time. I don't know. I'm not sure exactly, to be honest with you, what they were. Like I knew obviously posters and one sheets and stuff or something, but what was the importance of lobby cards?
From what I understand, they
Still
were
images of the movie.
It was it was PR. It was just PR for the movie. Now, who got them? I don't know. Maybe they were sent out to magazines for consider these for like pictures to put in Fangorias and stuff like that. That's the only thing I can think of. It was like press release stuff that was done back then for promotion that they picked to send out. And I guess they scanned the cards just and stuff like that to put them in newspapers, magazines. That's literally the only thing I can think of. And then somehow the stuff just ended up in people's hands outside of the company, and then eventually ended up on eBay. But
yeah, I mean, they were highly collectible for sure back then. But somebody said our cameras look so different because everything looks different in color. What does yours look like? If you held this up, what does yours look like in comparison to mine? How much different in color does that look?
Here we go.
Yours is a little bit sharper, actually.
Yeah.
Similar.
So now that we got the cards out the way, we got Conversations with the Devil, Dr. June Ross Mitchell. Here you go, folks. This girl was creepy in the movie, man. I hate that kind of stuff. I feel like it's played out, but I did like when I like the I like the guy that was basically playing the Jerry Seinfeld. Just it's like somebody said something like, I wish that guy could be in every possession movie in the world to just be the voice of the audience. Like, yeah, this is ridiculous. Like,
he did great.
I loved him.
You know what I like about these Umbrella releases? They did this with Mario, is that they give you these books, but they put in a lot of like cool images, like when they showed us like if Arnold was in the movie, like the sketches of when they were drawing him out. This has production designs basically. I think that's pretty cool, where they show like almost different ideas of how they wanted the set to look.
Yeah.
And I think that's really cool.
Oh yeah, dude, the Mario Brothers book is so cool. I still periodically will just pull it off the shelf when like I'm exporting a video and I just gotta wait for it to get done so I'll pull out the book and look. They went over all the merchandise and toys in that book, and it's just fascinating to look at.
I like that they show all the different makeup effects that they do in here and how they did them. Looks really cool. There's a lot of cool, very this girl looks great with the teeth. Yeah. It's hard to see on the thing, but yeah, it's a great little book. This is actually one of those books that I really enjoy because it shows you a lot of behind the scenes, like all these effects, like the split head. Did you see the split face one where she's got the green screen like on her head, and that's sick, dude.
Yeah, God, it's so cool.
Storyboards. Yeah, it's a cool little book. I mean, it's not thick, but I mean, it's got a lot of cool. I love all this making of images and stuff here. Camera plotting on how they did it, different poster ideas. Very, very cool.
Yep, there you go, folks. So there's that.
Oh, now we got the two big ones, the two big exclusives to this set. We're doing the TV guide. Does it bring back a lot of vibes for you, or what?
Like, I'm just gonna keep this. I have a coffee table like I have in here. Like, this is something I just want to have sitting on my coffee table so I can see it, and it replicates the feeling of, what, Garrett, I need to go to like a flea market soon and just try to find a box of old TV guides just to have a few from like 97, 98.
Remember the wrestling ones? Those would be sick to have, like all those. They had ones with all the different, I think Sable had one, Rock, Austin, Triple H. I think they all had like the covers of TV Guide at one point. That was like a big thing that were hyping back in the 90s.
Oh, yeah. My grandma used to keep TV Guide every couple weeks at the grocery store. And man, she had to have
you got a TV Guide, you don't need a TV.
Yep. What was that from? I just heard that.
Lost Boys.
Lost Boys, that's right. Yeah, me and Sydney watched that. Sydney wanted to watch that again the other night. And dude, let me tell you something. She was like, I want to watch. We wanted to do like a double Corey Feldman night. So we did The Burbs the other night, which The Burbs is, dude. And then she picked Lost Boys to watch. And when we were watching it, dude, I had the Blu-ray and then I had the 4K, and I swear because the Blu-ray has the poster art, I went for that and I grabbed the Blu-ray, dude, because they didn't screw that up. Like that Blu-ray, I mean, it's literally just the poster art from Lost Boys.
Mhm.
And
Oh yeah, and it's iconic. And what's funny is there was a little bit of, at least for me, there was a little controversy with the Lost Boys 4K release. I think it looks fantastic, but they definitely color corrected it. So the coloring is at least from my end was very different than I'd ever seen it before. And I talked about that when I got it, is that, I'm like, listen, I've seen this movie 500 times. I know every little scene by scene. I mean, this was color corrected for sure. It's always good to have different editions, I think, of movies. Gives you a different little look at them and whatnot. But yeah, Lost Boys and The Burbs, man. What a great double feature.
yeah, speaking of you saying that too, and guys, for the record, it looks like what this is kind of like a kayfabe, which means like a not real,
Fake.
like it's taking a fake in the vein of like being part of the movie, like kind of like the newspaper stuff that you probably saw in the beginning of the movie as it was telling the story of Jack Delroy and stuff. So they made the TV guide out of that.
Well, it is set up like a TV guide, because at the beginning it's got little letters, and then at the end it's got a crossword puzzle that's all kind of filled out. Like, I mean, they legit tried to make this look like a thinner version of a TV guide with some of those things that you always saw in there, and then different ads for like movies coming out and whatnot. So,
dude,
very cool.
I don't know. It's like maybe the like the second or third page. Check out that Panasonic Omnivision VHS TV combo.
Oh yeah, look at that,
dude.
I want that.
That is so cool. It's crazy when you like. There's a channel I'm sure you follow him too. Vintage Video Basement.
Oh, dude, I love it. Love that.
And isn't it crazy that the technology that the guy has got his hands on, like the high-end home video stuff from back then, had this, like the look of it is so unique compared to like just the basic model stuff that people had, the old Emerson TVs and stuff like that. But these, dude, he had like some kind of like Pioneer Laserdisc projector, and it's like the three big bulbs, the red, white,
and it's
blue
like
bulb.
in a coffee table, right? Like that it's like this. It's like a coffee
huge.
table, but it's a projector within it, so you can utilize it as a coffee table, but it's also It's insane.
Yeah.
Like, you wonder how much something like that would have cost back in the day.
Oh, dude. Probably like $900 to $1,000, and maybe more than that. But there's the amazing Christo. The guy gagged his ass off.
You know what else I kind of miss when it comes to vintage, and I wish I had room here to do it, is to get one of those like full, you might even have one of those just full setups, stereo system setups, with the big speakers, the equalizer, all that. My dad had like this whole wall unit when I was a kid of just like CD player, the big tape deck with the record player on the top, the equalizer, the big floor speakers, and everything was kind of housed inside like this big wall unit. It was insane. But like, that's what that was like impressive back then. When you walked into someone's house and they had this like humongous stereo system, it was just insanity. And I mean, I would love to have a spot to like build off one of those, but unfortunately, I just don't.
I mean, my grandparents had that. My grandpa still might have it. Like, he had the record cabinet where it's the tall rectangular tower with the glass doors. You got the player on one, and below that is like the preamp. Then below that, maybe an equalizer. And like, he'd have the big speakers to the left and right of it with the red and black cables. You gotta clamp and plug in. Yeah.
I remember my dad used to get so pissed at us when we were kids because we used to mess with all the equalizer things. He's like, no, don't touch it, you bastards. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, he's cool.
Guys, I may do like a YouTube short where I'll put this in just to show it. The thing about this tape is it feels very, very light. So I'd have to imagine this is what do you call it, Garrett? Where it's SLP
trailer or something. Yeah, like maybe you're just getting the trailer.
I think it's the movie. I think it's the movie.
The whole movie. All right.
This is like an SLP VHS. Not like the original VHS tapes are really bulky and heavy. But I'll probably do a YouTube short of this. It says Night Owl episode 330 VHW Master. This is just a movie, I assume. Let me see what that
Yeah, and
little
it's
card
limited
says.
to these are limited to 2,000. This tape, and I
Yeah.
guess it is the full movie, which is even better. I didn't know what this was. I didn't know what was on here, to be honest. But when it showed a case of VHS, I was like, I'm dying to see what's on there. But if this is the full movie on VHS, that's freaking killer.
Yeah. There you have it, man. Umbrella. Yeah, I'm digging what they're doing, man. Did you order the Hell House LLC collection?
I did. I ordered that and the full moon set.
Have you seen all the Hell House movies?
I've only seen the first one.
Dude, I said this so many times. Last year, Hell House Origins was far and away my favorite movie of the year. It scared the shit out of me. It was so good. It's the best one since the original. I won't talk about the sequels. I swear to God, Hell House Origins was fucking scary. Those clowns, dude. 2 and 3 are they're fine. They tell a story. I won't talk about them at all, Bob, obviously, but Origins, dude. I watched it on Halloween night. I think it premiered on Shudder like on Halloween night. And me and Sydney, we watched it because we love the first one. God, it was fucking good. Elliot says the VHS is not the full movie. It's the TV cut, not including the behind the scenes. Okay, well, that makes sense. That makes sense. The reality is, I mean, this is just cool to have. I'm probably not going to watch the TV cut more often than not, but
it's a cool collectible piece, for sure, because again, it's limited and it's different. So really cool.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Late Night with the Devil from Umbrella. Now, the second site release, guys, I'm sure is going to be sensational. It's just not a movie I'm interested in having on 4K, but that's just a personal taste, guys. If y'all want the second site release, more power to you. I mean, it's not like that's not going to be a good release. But for me, this is perfect. I really like this. It's a region-free Blu-ray, so I can literally watch it in any room, including this one where my player is just my PlayStation 4, which is actually a really reliable Blu-ray player, to be honest with you. That thing, I never have any problem with my PS4. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, I know a lot of people were a little bit iffy about this edition because of the price, because it did bring the price up a little bit to get the extra goodies in the bundle. It worked for me as well. I think if they didn't have this edition, I probably would have went with the second site if this didn't have all this stuff in it. Just because, but again, I like the artwork better on this.
I do
anyway,
too. Really
I don't know. I would have maybe I just would have kept this one. Umbrella just does a hell of a job. I'm kind of actually a little ticked off that I waited on Monkey Shines and it sold out. Finally, the thing was available forever, and I just kept sitting on. I'm like, I'll get it eventually. Like, I own it, and it was just a Blu-ray of basically the same edition I owned. But to see a movie like that get that kind of treatment with like a little book and a hard case and stuff, I was really excited for it. And then I just held out too long.
Yeah, I probably should have grabbed it too, but I didn't because I had a Eureka Blu-ray with a nice little slipcover. I think the slipcover had the monkey with the symbols, but then you pull it off, and then the case has the monkey with the blade.
Yeah,
which I love that movie. I watched a video you did on it where it was about like misleading covers.
Oh yeah.
I agree, but I still like the movie. It's honestly to me the movie's really scarier than the cover because. Dude, just imagine if you're a paraplegic and you got a raging monkey and you can't do shit. You just gotta
it's not even that the monkey's like gonna bite you or something. Like there's literally like when you flip around that VHS box, you look at the back, there's a monkey like holding a switchblade or something. I'm like,
scary as fuck, dude.
Yeah, he's gonna slice you with a knife. It is super scary. Monkey Shines is literally like one of my favorite movies. Like horror movies. It's just something about it. It's so wild. I saw it at the right place, right time. The cover won me over, and I love it.
So Garrett, I wanted to ask, do you not have your desk set up in the other room? Did you kind of clear that out and this is exclusively?
It's actually still sitting there. I was thinking about maybe taking it down, but then I'm like, oh, what if one day I wanted to go over there and do it? But I feel just so much better in here.
It's really nice. All I was getting at was I really like, for me, being able to not get myself burnt out. I'll be like, oh, let me do the show in this room tonight. Let me go in this room tonight. And the last couple of shows I did were in my horror room. I was like, man, I want to go in my other room tonight and do it in there. So I just didn't know if you felt the same way. Like, yeah, I kind of like
haven't gone back yet, but it's still all up. Like, I mean, I even bought a new mic for this, so I mean, it's all set up with a mic and the desk, everything. Basically, I just repeated everything I had in there, except made it all white. Except this desk is way bigger than the one I had over there, which is nice because I can set things up, and there's like popcorn buckets over here. I've got a bunch of stacks of stuff that I need to do for videos, so it's nice to have a bigger desk than what I was rocking before. But yeah, I mean, that's Late Night with the Devil. I mean, I don't know what the chat's saying over there. We can answer some questions before we head out. But again, I'm happy with this release. I love the movie. I'm glad it's finally here. It's one of the big releases that of the year for me. And it's been a crazy year, man. Like, I know you didn't want to talk about that damn chainsaw, but I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. Like I love Texas Chainsaw. I would love to have it, but I just couldn't put myself to do it. I said, you know what? If it's going to be anything like Black Maria, that thing could be half the price in like 6 months. So let me just wait and see what happens. Because
did you happen to see the video I made on it?
I didn't, because I've been so busy lately trying to do stuff. I haven't been able to see anybody's for that yet.
No, it's cool. So I gotta say, Pizzal made a video too, and he did a good job. I think I handled this. I don't know how anybody could have handled the video better than what I did on this whole thing. I start the video and I basically say, I'm a fucking idiot. Like, I am a jackass. There's no way Dark Sky is ever going to send me anything. I'll tell you that. Dude, I legitimately woke up at like 3 or 4 a.m. to let one of the dogs out. And like, I saw a post of it, like, available now. Like a dumbass. Like a stupid dumbass. At like 3 a.m., I'm half awake. I'm like, oh shit. I order the thing. And then I forget about it. And then I saw Piz do this video where he went to the convention and saw it.
Oh, I saw that video he did.
I looked. Okay, so I watched, and I remember I said, oh, wait, I ordered that. And then I watched the video and I legitimately said, holy shit. I thought the chainsaw was made out of resin. I assumed, which
is it plastic?
Dude, it's plastic it's Fisher Price plastic.
Because I mean, the only thing when I saw his video, I thought to myself, it's like a hornswoggle chainsaw, like it's like a little saw. Like, I was kind of taken aback. I was like, it's like a little saw, like for like. And then I like.
That's why I'm in. Yeah, that's the real reason I'm in here.
The way they housed it, I was like, it's kind of cool that it opens. You can put them in, but I'm like, I don't want my VHS and stuff wedged in a plastic or housed that way. Like, but I will say this: the biggest reason I would want it is obviously I love Texas Chainsaw. We know that. I don't have that VHS. Like, I love Texas Chainsaw Massacre VHS tapes. I've got a couple of them. I wouldn't mind having one with that cover, even though it's a rep or whatever. But it's not $300 worthy. So if I know Dark Sky and their track record with stuff like this thing literally will be probably half off on Black Friday. Unless there's 5,000 people that are going to spend $300 on an edition of the movie that they already probably have just to get a plastic chainsaw, I'd be shocked. But if it's anything like that Black Maria set, that was half off very quickly when it came out, because that was a pretty expensive set too when it first came out.
Yeah, I have that Black Maria, which I liked. I did like the Black Maria. Still have it. Yeah. And dude, I'll be honest with you. When I got done making the video on it, I really was like, man, I wonder if I can just ask them if I could send this back and get my money back. But I knew that once I posted that video, they probably wouldn't take it. That thing should be priced at $120, I think. 120, 130 bucks. That's what it should be around. But dude, I gotta be honest, like, I have never had the more buyer's remorse in my life. And I know that they did. I won't say the person's name, but somebody messaged me and they said, dude, I saw that they sent it to some people. They actually sent it to people. And this person said to me, I'm shocked that they would do that for something so expensive. And I said, "Is it really expensive though?" Because
Expensive to us,
it's
right? Yeah,
expensive to
like,
us, but what does
but
it
like
cost to live?
that alone should tell you something that they're willing to just push some of those out to people for nothing. I mean, that's $300. A company, normal company wouldn't just send $300 of an item just to say, here you go. Like, I mean, so to me, you're right. Like, I don't have it. I haven't touched it. The only thing I've seen is that Piz video at the con. And my first thoughts were more like, oh, that's a little smaller than I was expecting it to be. Um, that's what she said. So, I mean, it was just one of those things that I just, when I saw the price, I was like, there's no way. There's no way.
I'm
It
never gonna
sucks
live it
that it
down.
would have been so expensive. And another thing is, I talked about this with the Neverending Story set. I had a viewer, and if he's watching, thank you so much. Send me over half of what that Neverending Story set costs, and said, "Hey, man, I want to send this to you because I want you to buy the Neverending Story set, and I want you to do a review on it." And at that point, I was either going to send the money back, or I was going to just say, you know what, I'll pay half or a little bit less than half, and he'll pay the other half, and I'll buy it, I'll get it, I'll do the review on it. But my biggest thing is it was still hard for me to do because as much as I loved to have the book, I don't want to support $300 sets because I don't want that to become a norm for people. So that's my only reason I'm not going to do any of this stuff, because it's like, I don't want this to become the thing where these companies are going to try to put out these sets for like $200 and $300. I just don't, as a collector. It's too much now. So I
I
mean, this
totally agree.
alone was like, this bundle was what, maybe was this kind of like 100, maybe? Was that where we were with this? I forget.
I'd have to go in my email to look. I mean, it's been how long since I ordered it? It was probably close to that,
But I
maybe
do
a little
agree with
longer.
Jigsaw here. He says, you're respected for owning the L, because a lot of times people will put it over to make themselves feel better about the L, and to, look good in front of maybe a company that might see the video and whatnot. So it is respectful that you were pretty honest and were just kind of like, this is not a $300 set, sadly.
Yeah, it's
You know, I
let
mean, but
me
maybe you saying that will help the ones out who didn't get it, because they might be like, "Damn it, he's right. Let's
yeah.
mark it down."
I definitely save people money, which is why Robert's super chat, maybe because I saved him money. So he's Osgood Perkins is making a movie about the monkey toy coming out early next year. There's already a teaser trailer for it. It's called The Monkey. Well,
Mhm.
thank you, Robert. I'm definitely looking forward to anything Osgood does now. He's got my attention, I can tell you that. So,
Well, that monkey movie is based off a Stephen King book. And what's funny about the Stephen King book is I thought for so long as a kid that Monkey Shines was a Stephen King book, because Stephen King has a book with the pretty much the same poster art of that clapping monkey or whatever on it. So for years, I just assumed that was his book, his adaptation. But sure enough, no, it was the monkey was his, and it was called like Skeleton something, I think, or something. But it was the same image that Monkey Shines had.
speaking of Stephen King, are you ready for Salem's Lot tomorrow?
I'm super excited. I've got to work all day, but a part of me was thinking to my head, can I muscle up waking up extra early and trying to cram it in before I go to work? Because I'm a huge Salem's Lot guy, man, and
Sure.
I would love to see it ASAP. Like, do I bite the bullet after? Like, is it going to be out like in a half hour? Like, you know what I mean?
Um, you never know
Like
how
here,
these.
that'll be midnight, right? So I don't know if it comes out like right then, or I would have to wait till the morning. But
Well, for
I
you, it
would
might be
love
like
to get.
1 a.m. because
Oh
you're
yeah, that's right.
Eastern. Um, you know what's funny about Salem's Lot? I don't know how the chat feels about this. I am a live and let live kind of guy, but there is something about Salem's Lot that when people say not a fan, the movie's so boring, I just get so
Mhm.
annoyed. I don't know why, but I say to myself, no, guys. Toby Hooper, Stephen King, one of the scariest vampires, one of the scariest kid scenes with the wind. Like, what are you talking about?
Mhm.
I love Salem's Lot, and I think people got to remember it was a two-parter, right? It was a TV movie, so
Yes.
I
It
just I love
honestly,
Salem's
guys,
Lot.
I totally agree. It's such a vibe. It's It's slow burn. It's an interesting story. You know, the where it takes place, when it takes place. It's one of those movies that I literally, it's long. You got to remember that. It's really long. But I can sit down and just be doing something and have it on in the back. It's really, really just almost like a cozy movie. And then it gets really balls out. But the story is very, very interesting. And they've got
Yeah.
these little parts here and there, like with, you know, the scratching at the window and, you know, and then Mark's got some cool like horror stuff in his room. And I think Salem's Lot is a freaking masterpiece. I mean, my uncle grew up when it aired on TV, and he said he was riding his bike home 100 miles an hour from his friend's house after night one, fearing for his life. And I mean, when you can do that to somebody, a little kid or something like that, like there's something special about that flick. And I'm excited. I actually didn't hate the Rob Lowe one either.
I keep forgetting.
I didn't hate it. A lot of people hated it, but I'm hoping this is good. My only fear on this one is if CGI is going to kill it for me. If they can give me a nice story and have some good practical effects, I mean, if they can keep to the original story, I think I might enjoy it. So we'll see.
I had a couple more questions I want to ask you before we wrap up. Did you watch the Menendez Monsters series on Netflix?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so you did the whole thing, dude. I did a couple things about this, and all the reception I got was so negative about it, that it sucked. It was not realistic about the brothers, blah, 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 blah. And fair enough. Maybe I don't know enough about the brothers, but I was very entertained by the series, and I felt really for the brother that didn't have the hair piece on, the other brother. I really felt for him. I feel like he was probably the big. There's a part of me that I watched the video of him saying what happened in court. That brother, I forget which one's the name.
Yeah, I forget his name though. Yeah,
Lyle maybe is the one I'm thinking.
Lyle's. I think Lyle's the one with the toupee. I think.
Okay,
I forget.
Obviously,
I know who.
Yeah. I watched him in court. And I studied in nursing school symptoms of PTSD and how people react when they're re-experiencing something. My core tells me that the kids were abused. My core tells me that. So I tend to kind of feel for the brothers.
I mean, there's another documentary coming out on Netflix like any day, and it's actually a documentary about that whole thing again, but now it's with real footage. So you're not getting actors, you're getting them in court, them on the news, them. So there is another documentary coming out, which I'm really interested in. As soon as I watched that series, I knew about the Menendez brothers, but I was so little at the time that like I didn't really know about it. I just assumed it was two kids who killed their parents for money. Like that's all I ever knew. So to understand what their rebuttal was on, hey, this is why we did it. I didn't know any of that. But people are saying that the Menendez brothers did say there's elements of that story that they took to a new level. Like they're saying all the relationship between the brothers, like sexually, was not true. So that part of it, I guess the brothers denying, saying like we never, you know, slept with each other, we never, you know, groped each other in the shower. Like they're saying, I think that part of the story is fabricated, but I think as a whole, I found that the guys that played the brothers were great. I thought that was a great two people to play that role. I thought it was entertaining. I mean, it was a great story. Yeah, I thought it was a good time for sure.
Yeah, I binged the entire thing in one night. I remember texting Cody about it, and Cody's always like, "Oh yeah, I gotta watch that." Cody don't watch a goddamn thing. But I was telling him, I was like, dude, I think
he's always really busy. Every time he texts me a picture, he's out doing something cool.
He's seeing Sum 41 tonight.
He's always doing something over there. You know,
if it's not that, he's at a convention. I made a joke like I'm gonna be like, Cody, what are you up to? Oh God, I got a Pumpkinhead 3 convention.
You know, he was at some event the other night, like watching a movie or something at like midnight. But it was like they were doing like a special dress up show for some random flick. I forget what it was, but he sent me a picture of it. Like you're always doing something, man.
And did you watch the McMahon documentary?
Mm-hmm.
I think me and you talked a little bit. I was pretty upset by the doc.
Yeah, I talked about this on my show the other night with Uncle Bill, and I could go on a rant and a rave, and because I get really passionate about wrestling. I know sometimes the chat doesn't like that per se, but it was cool to see everything kind of summarized. But as a lifelong wrestling fan, I didn't learn anything I didn't know. There was a couple things. I think the one thing that I really didn't really know a lot about was the Vince and Shane story of like why Shane really left, and that Vince basically was like, if you want the company, like you gotta like take it from me. Take it from me. Like, I think somebody said they heard him in a conversation saying, take a knife, stab me, take the company, like show me that you want this. And other people said, Shane's amazing. We all love Shane, but him as the boss, he's too nice. And sometimes that might not be the best bet. Maybe someone, they said Stephanie was very much like Vince. But I don't know who it like really worked for. Like Vince is pissed about it, but I don't think it made Vince look terrible, except for the allegation part at the end, which hasn't been really solved yet. But I don't think they really did him dirty, really. I mean, a lot of the wrestlers were like very pro Vince throughout even someone like Trish, who would you assume that would have been like, oh my God, I hated doing that. She was like, no, it was fine. It worked the story. That's what needed to happen. And it's pretty respectable for Trish to come out and basically be like, I wasn't upset over that. It's nice to see that she wasn't like, woe is me. I can't believe he did that to me. It was nice.
I agree. I do wish that the interviewers would have pressed on stuff a little bit more. I didn't think they were diligent enough, especially when it came to some of the stuff like about Owen. They kind of pressed, but I thought McMahon sounded just extremely cold when he said, Owen fell in the dark. Thankfully, the people didn't see him. If the people would have saw him, we definitely would have stopped the show. Like, what? That's what you have to say about Owen? But I'm going to tell you something, Garrett. I thought about this. I actually think Vince gave himself up on the dock without him even realizing it. Because I've been thinking about this. There's a moment in that doc where he describes the 3 computers in his head. And I can't get it out of my mind. Where he says one of them is processing this interview right now, and the other one is thinking about sex. And what a bizarre thing to say, And I think that McMahon definitely has issues, especially when he breezed past the stuff about the ref from the 80s where for the first time he admitted it.
Limitations is over anyway, so what can you do? Like he kind of like there was no remorse, and he even said like it was consensual, so he never said he didn't do it.
And
he was like, oh, it's consensual. And then the statute of limitations, they're already gone. So what are they going to do? Like he almost kind of just whatevered it, right?
Well, see, yeah, that's what you're trying to get at. What blew me away is the fact that he actually admitted, like, yeah, of course we had sex. It was almost like, oh, it was consensual. Poor Linda, poor Linda in this whole thing. I mean, what he already has shown in that documentary is he will use his power and his position to get whatever he wants in the moment. And so there are some things, not by the docs pressing, but by Vince just basically saying a few things that makes me say to myself, man, there is some shit beneath. I'm not going to say he's Diddy, but
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of sad for me because like he was somebody that gave me a big part of my life, and I always respected him because I think he played the role he was supposed to play well. His character was great. He gave us what I grew up and loved. But to have these little things going on where it's kind of like, there's a line that certain people shouldn't cross, and it's just wild to see that how he could be, like you said, when he says he's got these computers in his head. I mean, that is a weird situation, a weird thing to say, because who knows what he's like behind the scenes when he's not working. Is it just like sex and work is all his brain processes? So if he's not working on the product, he's off trying to do that. And to be honest, how many people must he have had relationships with? I mean, there had to have been almost I'm thinking so many of these divas or whatever
Mm.
had to have. And there was one portion of it where they were talking about Sable, and they brought up, like, remember when you had the affair? And he's like, affair? What affair? Well, affair. And then you hear Tom Pritchard saying, Vince, the angle. Oh, the angle. As to think like someone was calling him out, like he like they knew something that he didn't want anybody else to know. And then when Pritchard yelled the angle, he kind of switched his tune, the angle, and I'm thinking, oh shit, did something just slip out about something that happened between him and Sable at one point? Which that's a whole nother can of worms if that's what happened, because I'm sure I don't know if Brock would know that, right? Like that's kind of he seemed very weird when they said you and Sable in the affair. He got really weird about it. And then Tom Pritchard had to yell from the back, like the angle. And that was a strange piece to me.
Yeah.
Because,
So it sounds like you're kind of like with me. It was clearly made for somebody. It's made for a Netflix customer, not a wrestling fan. But dude, when I think about it, there were definitely nuggets of things that I'm like, wait a minute, he said that. And the one thing he had no problem talking about was the steroid trial, and I agree, he did not do anything wrong. Now, did he create an environment where that was promoted subliminally? Probably so, but I also think that was the 80s. I mean, even into the 90s, I remember the controversy of Barry Bonds. He was like a Jack 280 hitting 500 feeters, dude.
Yeah, I agree.
So that was reality. I mean,
I hate to be that guy, but honestly, dude, I loved it better when everybody was on steroids. Like that's just how I grew up. So like, I've never done it. I know people have done it in front of me. I've handed needles to people before. I was in environments to do this before. I was in wrestling locker rooms, gyms. I mean, these have been around me for a long time. But I've never touched this stuff.
That's true. That is true.
100%. But when I was a little kid, everybody I looked up to was jacked out of that freaking Arnold, Stallone, like Hogan, Ultimate Warrior. Like my whole life growing up I was looking up to the He-Man, the cartoon. The guy was jacked out of his mind. Everybody that I was drawn to was like these larger than life personalities. And even baseball back then, I was a big baseball fan. All those dudes were on steroids, and all those dudes felt like professional wrestlers with baseball uniforms on. Everybody had gimmicks, because I have posters in my home gym right now from the 80s, the Bash Brothers. It's McGuire and Canseco all jacked up. They had, Ricky Henderson posters, his Man of Steel. He's all jacked with like all this like different things. And like everybody had a persona, the Boz was one, like everybody, and they felt larger than life. And now I don't watch baseball or anything anymore, but back in like the early 2000s, I was at a nightclub and I was with somebody like, oh, there's so-and-so right there. And I'm like, who the heck's that? And they're like, oh, he's a pitcher for the Red Sox. I'm like, pitcher for the Red Sox? He looks like a guy next door that's like mowing his lawn. Like it didn't feel like a larger than life person, where back in the day, everybody was just, they were a character. And I think I really kind of miss that in sports. It's crazy to say, but like everybody just, I miss the larger than life characters. When you see Hulk Hogan in person, he feels a hell of a lot different of a person than when I meet Kane Hodder or I meet anybody like from a horror movie. Like you see Doug Bradley walking around, you see Hulk Hogan walking around, you're like, that's somebody right there. He still gives that aura of like being larger than life, because he's still kind of in gimmick as an old man. But I kind of miss that a little bit.
Did you also notice where Hogan admitted that he ratted out Ventura about the union? That Ventura always talked about that. And, it's funny because I when you hear Ventura talk so passionately about something about that, as well as all the conspiracies, and then you find out that Ventura was not bullshitting about Hogan ratting him out, now it makes me want to go back and listen to all the stuff he talks about conspiracy wise. It makes me say, you know what? Maybe this dude's on to something.
Ventura, you see he's going to be doing commentary at Main Event. That's killer, dude. That's going to be so fun to hear him on the mic again.
Oh, man. Yeah.
He's going to be doing Saturday night's Main Event. He's going to be the caller. It's going to be great to hear him calling matches again.
Oh, dude. Yeah, that's going to be exciting. Yeah. I think that about does it. Listen, guys, Garrett, I don't know if you have anything you want to add before we wrap. This was chill. I had a good time tonight.
Yeah, we get to talk about Late Night with the Devil. You know, I always like chatting about wrestling, so that's always fun too, and talking about that stuff. But yeah, I mean, it was just one of those things we haven't really done a live together in a while, so it was killing two birds with one stone, and I'm sure there'll be more to come. And obviously, thank you everybody for being here. And I see people talking about Stone Cold and the CTE. I think that to me was a very weird thing for him to say. And then I start to wonder to myself, you got to be careful with a lot of these documentaries. Netflix and all these other people, they know how to cut and edit things to make things look a certain way. I don't know. I don't understand why Austin would have downplayed that because, you know, I'm sure he's had plenty of concussions in his life, but I do agree with what people were saying. And it said, you know, the best wrestlers, the ones that don't get concussed, which I kind of agree with because they're not as sloppy. But you look at someone like Benoit, his move was a diving headbutt. He must have done that, you know, 300 times a year on his head. I mean, he didn't land perfect every time. These guys were getting hit with chairs. I mean, look at Bret Hart, one of the best wrestlers in the world. He can't wrestle anymore because of a concussion. And that was accidental, right? So it's very weird to me that Austin, considering he knows all these guys, can basically be like, oh yeah, I don't believe in concussions.
And
You know,
maybe
I just don't get it. I don't know if it was edited weird to make him sound like that's what he meant. I just don't see Stone Cold being that stupid in 2024 to say something like that on a interview he knows is going to Netflix.
I'd have to listen back to it again, but I do wonder if he was referencing he doesn't believe in concussions in terms of that being an excuse for Benoit doing what he did. I think that might have been what he was inferring. I have to go back and listen to it again, though. But like you said, creative editing or just editing in a way to where it could come across a certain way, but if you saw the complete context, it could come out it can come out differently. But
has he responded to that at all? Do you know? Has he said anything of people talking about how dare he downplay CTE?
I'll tell you this. I'm going to answer and give you my opinion on something. I know he has not, but I'm going to tell you this. I don't think he should because you know what? Whether it's his opinion or not, let him stand on it and let people bitch and complain about his opinion on something, and something else is going to happen, and everybody will move on and not ever think about it again. So
if that's how he truly feels, I say stick to your guns. I mean, you know, that there's not enough of that going on, and that's why I said I respected you for saying this is not a $300 set and it's a Fisher Price toy. Like, it's respectful to hear people just stick to their guns about stuff because they're so easy in this day and age to just flip flop, to just make nice with whoever's, you know, on the other side of the computer. But if that's how he truly feels, then he should stand by it. If it was poorly edited to make him look like he was saying that, then I think he should come out and basically be like, that's actually not even what I meant, or the way it was said was done intentionally from the people making the doc. That's what I was curious if he came out and said, like, I didn't really say it like that. That's the biggest thing. Yeah.
I don't think as far as I know, I don't think he's come out and because I watch enough wrestling podcasts like 83 Weeks and Russo and stuff. I think they would have. None of them have talked about him saying anything, so I don't think he's. I don't think he said anything, but yeah, I mean, it's been a pretty good year for documentaries and some of these series, and I'm watching Tulsa King right now. I'm staying kind of caught up on that. They're doing the weekly thing, like we were talking about with Crystal Lake, which I hope they do as well. I like the once a week thing. It's manageable, you know. So
you don't end up Menendezing it and McMahoning it all day long.
Oh yeah, dude, I you know, I flew through it. Gary, what do you want to promote before we roll out?
Yeah, you can find me over at Born to Be Rad on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok. You can find me there. What do I got? I got a couple cool videos that I did last week. I did one about top 10 made for TV horror movies to check out. I did another one about creepiest made for kid movies of the 80s. You guys can check that out too. I have another one coming up this weekend about 13 like overlooked horror movies that you should add to your October watch list. And I also have the history of The Hitcher coming. So if any of that interests you, definitely go check it out over my channel.
There you have it. By the way, guys, I know everybody's ready.
We got.
Well, I know I got a bunch of stuff recorded, but I think tomorrow I got yard work I got to do. Then I'm probably going
You gonna
to
put out a yard work video tomorrow?
I need to do a review while I'm cutting grass. No, I'm gonna try to. I got Land of the Dead. I gotta watch that and Hitcher. So I'm gonna try to have those. Oh, I just watched Body Double. I got the 4K still, dude. I loved that movie. I hadn't
Great
seen it
movie.
before.
Mm,
It's the Doctor from Dream Warriors.
it's
I was
great
like,
freaking
okay.
movie, man.
Dude, it's actually really smart because it's like a scenario that's like kind of clever, just for people, to be a guy that's being creepy, but you get to see him as a person. He's not a creep, but he's watching a beautiful woman, and so as he's being creepy, just watching this beautiful woman through a telescope or whatever he has, and just see she's actually being followed. And now he's got to do something. It's like yeah, man, like De Palma, dude. What can I say? So yeah, I really enjoyed that. I got to review that.
You should do a reel tomorrow of you out doing yard work, swinging that little chainsaw around.
Yeah, I'm gonna break the damn thing, dude. It was the worst thing I've done so far this year. Just horrid regret.
Again, if it was $150, you would regret it a lot less than if it was $300. Is a lot to ask for one movie that we all got 1,000 times. And basically, I'm assuming the edition in there is the exact same edition that we got, like in Steelbook and everything else. Correct?
There's 2 new documentaries on it.
Oh, there is.
Yeah.
Okay.
So still
like brand new, like not on, they've never been seen before, right?
Yeah, they are new to that. They are new to that release. So but yeah, I got all that I got to do. So they have it. Oh, I was telling this to Garrett, everybody. Garrett had it too. If y'all go to Old Navy, they actually have an alien shirt that's like the poster of the first movie. So if you guys want to get some cool swag for cheap, I think the shirt was like $12 or something, $14. You can get an alien shirt at Old Navy, guys. So head over there. So they have it, everybody. Thank y'all for watching. Go follow Garrett at Born to Be Red. Go check him out on YouTube if you're not. We had a lot of people here tonight, 100 and plus all night. So we thank you guys for hanging out with us. There's Umbrella, sponsor us. Send us free shit, please.
Hell
We
yeah.
will continue to promote you guys on everything. And
you give us this,
you
give us Mario sets like that. Oh yeah, we're all day. Like I said, we've got 2 things coming up. I'm under the assumption you got the full moon set as well. I got that in the Hell House coming or whatever. What is it called? Is that what it's called? Hell House, yeah, LLC. Yeah. I have those 2 sets coming still from them. So definitely cool. They're putting out a lot of good stuff.
They are. So there you have it, guys. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us tonight. And we will see you guys very, very soon. God bless y'all and take care. Good night.